All right, guys, today's topic is free money in the form of scholarships. Everyone loves free money. It's at that time of year, the acceptances are rolling in, and now it's time to get that scholarship, to negotiate the best possible outcome for you as a student. I'm going to give you guys the blueprint for obtaining this kind of free money, and I'm also going to give you guys a personal story, which I'll start with today, that will explain to you exactly how I did it and what my results were. All right, guys, I want to start off with explaining how I did this. Now, I did this successfully when I was applying to law school. I negotiated my way from literally $0 to a full scholarship simply by picking up the phone, and I'm going to explain to you how I did it. Now, I want to start off by saying one of the ways that this works is you really need to have a solid application. You don't have to have the best possible application, right? You don't need perfect test scores. You need a solid application. You need to be slightly above the 50th percentile for whatever the college is requiring. So if the college is requiring a 1300 SAT score, if you're in the mid 1300s, then this strategy applies. The thing is, this will not work if you do not have a test. So big disclaimer, you need to submit test scores for this to work because you need that as part of your negotiating tool. Now, let's come up with a hypothetical scenario. Okay, I apply to X college with slightly above average, if not 75th percentile GPA, test scores, and a solid transcript. I get accepted. Now, what do I do? Well, I'll tell you exactly what I did. I made sure to apply to competing schools. Rule number one is you need to apply to several schools in the same bracket, in the same ranking category. Say top 50, top 100, maybe even regional competitors. You need to engage and create a competitive atmosphere. The reason that you need to do that is you need to make the colleges want you, not only because they want you, but they want to take you away from another school. This is really important. Obviously, look, they want you to be a student there. They want your money. If you're getting a partial scholarship, they want the remaining portion. But at the end of the day, college is a business and it is competitive. So you need to create a competitive atmosphere. And part of doing that is applying to schools that are competitive with each other. So now we have that out of the way, right? I've applied to several schools that are competitive. The next thing you need to do is you need to apply to some lower ranking schools that are somewhat competitive with those schools. So maybe one tier below, you need to apply to some of those schools. Now you're asking, Nick, why do I need to do that? The reason that you need to do that is extremely important for getting a preliminary scholarship offer. If you apply to a less competitive school and you have much better test scores than are expected, you will be awarded a substantial merit-based scholarship if the school does engage in that kind of policy. Now, that's part of your bargaining tool as well, because you're going to utilize that later, and I'll explain how in a few minutes you will utilize those other scholarship offers as bargaining tools. So now we have the setup, right? You have the lower ranked school that's giving you the scholarship. You have the schools that you're actually targeting. You've got some competitive schools in that range. Hopefully the lower ranked school is also somewhat competitive with them. And now you've created the competitive atmosphere that you need. Not only do you have the competition, but you also have the offer, right? So you have the offer from a lower ranked school and you have the competitive nature and the competitive situation with the other schools. So we have it all set up. Now, what do we do? So here's exactly what I did. I took my scholarship offer from the lower ranked school. I made sure to have a copy of it digitized, printed out, official letterhead, everything, all right? I then called the admissions department of the higher ranked schools one at a time. And I said, look, I understand that, and of course, let me just preface, you have to be accepted to all these schools. You do not do this before you are accepted. I forgot to mention that. You have to be accepted to all of these schools, okay? So let's just get that out of the way. I have an acceptance from say 3 or 4 schools. The lowest ranked one is giving me the huge scholarship. I then call the other competitive schools and I say, hey, very respectfully, college is very expensive. Right? This is a great financial hardship. It's just a lot of money, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $75, $80,000 a year for some schools. Anything that can soften the blow, that can lessen the financial burden on me and my family would be greatly appreciated, right? You don't come at them with negativity. You don't come at them with, demands. You come at them with a really honest approach, right? This is truthful. $80,000 a year is a ton of money. So, anything that you guys can do to help my situation would greatly help me make a decision to attend your school. I want to attend your school. I love your school. I think it's amazing. I think I would be a great fit for your school. But at the end of the day, the finances are a factor, as they are for pretty much everybody. So what can we do? Now, one of two things can happen at that point. Either they could say, all right, we'll look at it and, maybe get back to you with some kind of offer. Number two, they could also say, you know what, we just don't do that, or, it is what it is, and kind of just leave you hanging. And then that's the end of it, right? You can maybe try to push a little bit more, but if they say no, they say no, and I wouldn't, further provoke them, because you are accepted to the school. That is an honor in and of itself, and you basically just take that and run with it. If they do seem like they're open to negotiating, what you would then do is try to obtain a better offer. Now, say you obtained an offer of $10,000 a year based on your request. I would then take that, get that on letterhead, get that on, on a PDF, and then go to the next school that you're competitive with and show them that offer. Look, I have a full ride from lower ranked school, and I have a $10,000 a year offer from this competitive school that I know you guys are competitive with. Now, you don't say that to them. You say, look, these are my offers. They will likely match or try to beat the lower offer because they want to obtain, you attending their school. Now, you can't be totally brazen with this. You can't be totally obnoxious. This is not, Shark Tank, right? This is, a polite negotiation where you do have somewhat of a power position because you are able to make a choice, and you're just asking them to do you this favor. I don't think being aggressive, nasty, condescending in any negotiation is effective, but especially in this kind of negotiation, you want to be respectful, and I think that's going to get you the best results. Then you can rinse and repeat this process as many times as you want. Now, I personally did this, and to tell you the personal story that I did this with, I had several full ride offers from lower ranked law schools in the 100 to 80th ranked range. And I took those offers to tier 1 law schools, which is basically any law school that is ranked 50 or below. And I basically, over a period of several days, negotiated my way from $0 to $20,000 a year, to $40,000 a year, to a full scholarship, to a full scholarship with a penthouse dorm, to a full scholarship with no GPA requirements and all kinds of preferential treatment and so on and so forth. So I personally negotiated, $500,000 of scholarships for myself, probably in the law school process. And it can be done, with college too. Not going to name names, but the dean of admissions of a certain college told me they will negotiate with you, the student. At the end of the day, guys, I heard it from the horse's mouth. And I did it myself with law school, and it works with undergrad too. To a much lesser extent, maybe you'll get $5,000, $10,000 a year, but $10,000 a year times 4 years is 40 grand. Who doesn't want 40 grand for free? I want 40 grand for free. But at the end of the day, that's what I did. And, it all took phone calls and just emails, right? There was nothing other than that. Now, moving on from that to explain another story. And just to add one point about this, guys, for all the high school students out there, you should probably be doing this yourself. You do not want your parents to be doing this for you. I know you may feel that might be better because they're better negotiators, they're older, more experienced. They probably want to hear from you. If this comes from you and from a genuine place of like, I really want to go to your school, but financially I can't make it work, that makes it much more likely that they will negotiate with you. Now, a few caveats. Number one, this may not work as well with some schools because many schools are financially hurting right now because of the coronavirus. So if they tell you, look, we're financially hurting because of the coronavirus, that may be your answer and you should probably accept that. Number two, it can actually get better. So I'll give you guys another story. An associate of mine, someone that I've known for some time, a great student and someone who scored very highly on standardized tests, applied to law school utilizing these strategies, and he also not only received an offer full scholarship, but he also received an offer for something like a $5,000 or $10,000 a year stipend for living expenses. So they were basically going to pay him to attend their law school. I've also guided several other friends and acquaintances. Back when I was teaching LSAT courses, I told the students about it. One of them used it and emailed me after he received a full scholarship to law school. A friend of a friend did this and received a full scholarship or near a full scholarship to law school. So it really works well with law school. It also works pretty well with college. So that's a lot of the things that you can do. Now, I wanted to get into some other ways that you could obtain scholarships for college, other ways that you can kind of boost your financial situation when it comes to college. So let's get into those. Number Number one, you can look at websites such as FastWeb, College Board has scholarships. They have a lot of scholarships out there. I mean, you could check out a lot of the TikTok accounts, a lot of YouTube accounts that talk about the various hundreds of thousands of scholarships that are out there. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, free this, free that. I mean, there's just tons of scholarships out there. If you want to go on your grind and really try to make it work, I think you can, right? So check those websites. Those can show you some scholarships, and obviously there are many more out there. All right, so the next thing that you want to do is make sure to give back to your community. Students that tend to engage in community service are deemed to be, I think a lot of the scholarships out there for college, like these one-off scholarships that you get from community groups, that you get from businesses, that you get from the government, they're going to want to see a commitment to community, right? If you're a student that's committed to your community, then they're going to look at you favorably, and they'd be more likely, since you're giving back, then we feel we can give back to you. I think that's a fair trade-off. So definitely, take that in consideration when you're planning your actions out in 10th grade and 11th grade. A lot of the scholarships appeal towards a certain type of person, right? So if you're looking for a scholarship, they may have a writing contest. So if you're a great writer, that may be a scholarship that you can possibly obtain. Like I said earlier, other scholarships can be pertaining to community service or some other category. Try to fit in some of the categories if you can. If there's some things that you can do outside of your, scholastic time that can help you obtain scholarships, then you might as well do them. Now, the next thing you want to do is make sure to monitor your online presence. If a college or an organization is going to offer you a scholarship, they may Google you, they may look at your social media accounts. The last thing you need is you're about to get a $10,000 scholarship and they see a picture of you on the internet that they don't want to see, and then they rescind that. It could be as simple as, some images of you partying with friends or doing something illegal. Obviously, we don't want to do that because it may affect your scholarship offers and it may affect college's view of you. They do look at a lot of students on social media to make sure to filter out anything that they don't want. Some applications for scholarships do have additional optional questions. Make sure to answer everything. If you are applying for a private scholarship, answer all the questions. That will greatly assist you in obtaining that. The next thing I would do, guys, is besides trying to negotiate your scholarship with colleges, I would apply to as many of these free scholarships as humanly possible. It's a numbers game, right? You're not going to win every single one, and you're unlikely to win any one scholarship based on the number of applicants. But if you apply to 50 scholarships, you have a much higher chance of winning one of them. So play the numbers game to your advantage and just apply to all of them. Now, you're probably like, okay, Nick, how am I supposed to win a scholarship contest that's a nationwide contest with 100,000 applicants? Well, that's a great point, right? The better thing to do would be to look to local scholarships. If you can find scholarships in your community from businesses and community groups, I know they have them at Elks Lodges and, YMCAs and whatever kind of local scholarships you can find in your own community. You have a much higher chance of winning a scholarship with only 100 applicants than you do with one with 100,000 applicants. So really take that time to, consider local scholarships. Even if it's $1,000, that's worth it. I think the other thing to look for is if you do have a compelling story, if you do have something to tell someone giving out a scholarship, those are the kind of scholarships that you really should apply for. If it's an essay contest to tell some kind of compelling story and you have that compelling story, I think your chances of getting the scholarship go up greatly. So you feel you do have a compelling story, something happened in your life that you feel, maybe you're deserving of a scholarship or you've experienced a lot of hardship, then I think applying to those kind of scholarships really is a good move. And who knows, you might be able to win one because of your story. I think the last thing I would say, and the reason that all of this worked out for me and has worked out for all the people that I've advised, is that everyone that has done this has been passionate, right? If you show passion, dedication, commitment, and you prove to be someone who strives for greatness, then that will reflect positively on you as an applicant for college, as an applicant for a scholarship, as an applicant for law school, and that will enable you to obtain these scholarships and will enable a committee to make a decision in your favor. Like, look, we want to give this person the benefit of the doubt because they're so passionate, they're so dedicated, and we can see them being successful in the future. So 100% stay passionate, stay dedicated, stay high energy, and you will be able to obtain these scholarships. Look, I did it, and if I did it, you can too. Remember to join my Discord server if you have any questions about any of this that I've said. We're constantly communicating with each other in the Discord. A lot of students are asking me questions. If you have questions, jump in the Discord, ask me a question, I will answer. So check you guys soon.